tutorial I'm going to explain that how you are going to create a file with HTML document, CSS document, JavaScript in ASP.NET Visual Studio 2019. This heading shows that I am working in Visual Studio 2019. So I have created a special and a sample file with the name of this one, that is the name. It shows the file has been created in ASP.NET C# Visual Studio 2019. In my previous video you saw that how to create a new project. For example, if I have to create a new project, so definitely I'll move here, then I'll have to select this one ASP.NET. But here I have already created ASP.NET file. Let's open it and let's have an understanding that what is going on in this web page. This is the first web page of ASP.NET. For example, that I have mentioned here that what is the HTML and head. So your working goes start from here, that is the character set and UTF. So let's have the understanding that what is the character set and the UTF stand for. It is the method of converting your typed characters into machine readable code. It is a Unicode based encoding such as UTF-8, can support many languages and can accommodate pages and forms in any mixtures of those languages. This is basically we are going to use for the heading and to have the character style in our page. After that you have to place here that what is the link should be. So you must show here that what is the CSS link file. So I have created in a separate way, that is the CSS cascading styling sheet. So these are the parts of the CSS file and I have placed here. So I have to show that what is the link and you have to put in the next line of this character set. So let's have the understanding that what is the mean of this link HR reference. The REL attribute is used to define the relationship between the link file and the HTML document. REL style sheet specifies this REL. I am going to explain. This REL styling sheet specifies a persistent or preferred style in CSS file. That is the CSS file and the style type you have to show, and you have to start from here. There are four main types of the writing: expository, descriptive, persuasive and narrative. Each of these writing style is used for a specific purpose. A single text may include more than one writing style. The type attribute identifies, because I have taken this attribute, that is the type. So the type attribute, this type attribute identifies the content between the style tag, and this is the style tag in CSS file. So between this style tag, and it starts from here and closes from here, so between these style tags this type attribute goes work. The default value is text, which indicates that the content is CSS. It means that the default value will indicates that is the text, and it indicates that it's the CSS file. The remaining part of this body block, this is from start from body. The font size is 1 em, it means that is the font size, different font styles in CSS, and this is the bold I have selected, and the background color you will find here on this page yellow. You may change any color by yellow, and this is the hello here. This is the form tag you are watching. The HTML form tag is used to creating a form for user input. A form can contain text fields, checkboxes, radio buttons, and more. Forms are used to pass user data to a specified URL. The input type text, in here we are taking the style color blue. It means our next line will show a blue color. First web page in ASP.NET, it will come in blue color, and we have taken a style from the CSS file. The size of this text is h2 I have taken. After that, the line will be appear that what is your name, because this is the task that we are going to work in our web page. So to attempt this task, we have taken this input tag, that is the input tag, input type text. It defines a single line text field. The default width of the text field is 20 characters. This input text, and the size is 40, and ID name, ID is my name. So this size 40, the size attribute works with the following input types: text search, TEL, and URL, email, etc. This is the ID, and that is the my name. The ID of the data list element that contains the optional predefined autocomplete options. After that, I have taken and selection a button on which I will click on this button, and it will perform by getting this ID my button, and there is a submit written on that button. Elements of the type buttons are rendered as a simple push buttons. This line, which can be given a button's label. Submit. What is a submit here? The button submits the form data to server. The buttons resets all the controls to their initial values, like input type reset. For example, I will click on the button, and there is a submit written, but when I leave the click, it will reset automatically, and that is the closet tag of the form. That is the diff command, and we used in the CSS file. What is the div ID? Let's have the understanding of this line. The div tag defines a division or a section in the HTML document. The div tag is used as a container for HTML elements, which is then styled with CSS or manipulated with JavaScript. The div tag is easily styled by using the class or the ID attribute. Hello message is the content that the ID of the container in div has. The next line, and that is the script of Java. The HTML script element is used to embed executable code or the data that is typically used to embed or refer to JavaScript code. That is the function, and it's a complete script code embedded in for the Java script. That is a function of Java. And what does it mean? And here is the source. SRC stands for source. This attribute specifies the URL of an external script file. This function from here to below, the function show hello message, we created a function named show hello message. The variable name, what does the meaning of this variable? That is a local variable here. This here the get element by id function will return the element with the id name, my name. It will be a text box field from index.html. This variable name in the text line in name.value, here it will call from here name.value in the next line. So it variable work with this document get id, and that is the element that my name is the id which JavaScript will take from the index.html file. Here in this line, document dot get element by id. Now we use the get element by id, which returns an element with id hello message. This is the id of the empty div element inside index.html. We use inner HTML property on this element to insert a hello text, and also a value of name.value, which contains a value of the text box. For example, that this is the hello will appear below the button, and there will be a hello message. For example, whatever you will write in that box, your message will appear and recall you. And that is the last line of this function, and you have to close this function. And that is the here the my button on click show message, show hello message. This line shows that your message will appear after clicking the button and when you leave the button. The get element id returns the element with the id my button, which is the button in our case. We pass our show hello message function to button on click event handler, that is the event handler, so that the button is clicked, is function gets the executed. And that is the last line. That is, I'm going to close this script tag, and this is the body, and that is the HTML. Now let's compile this page. For compiling this page, we have to press Ctrl plus F5. So see what is the result here. The first web page in ASP.NET. What is your name? For example, any name you can write here. For example, there is a name of the Nazia. Submit. So see, there is a message. Okay, what is going on here? These alphabets or the text is in very small fonts. So let's make this the size of this fonts. What to do? Simple. We'll move here, and that is see that 1 em, that is the font size. If I'm going to change this by 5, so let's see what happened. So see that what is your name, and for example I'm going to write that is the Nazia or Saima. So see what does the is doing this button. This is recall this text. So here there is a name Saima, and you saw that this button recalls it. So by moving on our program, here the color doesn't change the blue, because I type here H1 except of this one line, this H1, that is the closing tag, and now it will work. Like I change the color blue, so definitely it will appear on the blue color the first web page in ASP.NET. So see what will happen after compiling this program, that is the Control F5. It must be change the color. See, our color has been changed. So our task has been done, and in order to watch my more lesson videos regarding the JavaScript in ASP.NET, especially in Visual Studio 2019, so you will have to keep watching my video and like and subscribe it. Thank you.